Hello survivors, welcome back to another video. How are you today, guys? I'm great. In case you are wondering, today we are going to talk about how to protect your troops, because yesterday we talked about how to train your troops, but let's be honest, doesn't matter if you're training a lot of troops. If people are killing them, then it doesn't make any sense. So you have to learn how to protect them. Now these advices are for three groups of people, especially first group of people who are in newer states where you are still fighting for territory and you are fighting for analysis centers, for bunkers. People are getting familiarized with the game and they're attacking because they're getting bored and stuff. Then of course, there are no amount of peace flares that are gonna help you to protect yourself at all the time. So you are gonna be able to protect your troops even if you don't have peace flares, or if the peace flare is gonna finish and you won't be able to, let's say, put another one. Well, these advices are gonna work for you. Now, the second group of people is the following. Let's say that you are in an older state, because older states are super organized and they don't attack each other because they know what it does to the state. So it's very, very weird that somebody's gonna attack you out of nowhere unless you messed up big time, or you, let's say, attack them, or you attack one of their farm accounts, or you are messing up like with people in the state chat. Those are the only ways that come to my mind that people can come and attack you. But if you are not doing that, very, very strange that somebody's gonna come and attack you. But you still have in those states kill event and state versus state, and because you have those events, there are no rules, so they can still attack you and people from other states can come and attack you. So you have to find a way to protect your troops. And for the third group of people, is for the people who have just like 1 million troops. You are gonna be able to protect all of them. But if you have like more than that amount, then of course you won't be able to protect all your troops, and you will have to lose troops if they attack you a lot of times. But you still will be able to protect some troops, or most of them, if you have like 2 million and stuff, as I do. So I'm gonna give you some tips here. First tip, guys, is the following. If you're gonna be offline for an unusual period of time, for example, let's say it depends on how you are playing daily, but if you are playing, let's say, every 1 hour, just to say something, you are logging in every 1 hour, but now you are going to sleep and you're going to be asleep for 6 hours, or you are going to go to a meeting for 4 hours and you won't be able to see the notifications and stuff, and you are in one of these newer states or during kill event or state versus state, then you of course want to protect your troops. If you have a peace flare, that's the best way. But if you don't have a peace flare, how can you do? Well, you send your troops here to the towers, guys. These towers cannot be attacked by most of people in the state unless their alliance is connected to your territory. So if their alliance is connecting to your territory, they can attack these towers, they can attack this, and they can get your troops if they are like hiding there. But even if you are in that situation, guys, you can still play smart and send your troops to the towers and you can protect them. So I recommend you that whatever is your case, for example, let's say if you are even fighting with this alliance and they're gonna get your towers, you can still send your troops to the towers, but send them to the towers farther away from the connection points. For example, I send them to this tower, to this one, and to this one. So by the time they are getting here, wow, they have to spend a lot of hours, and I'm gonna be maybe online, I'm gonna recall my troops. But that's a very, very rare occasion. Most of the time, people who are gonna attack you are outside, for example, your territory or from other alliances. Then you can just send your troops to your towers and they won't be able to reach them. So that's the best way to protect your troops, guys. Now, you don't only have the towers, because let's say that you don't have enough towers. Well, you can still use your HQ here. You can garrison and protect your troops, and they will have to destroy most of your territory to get there, and that's, well, it will take a lot of time and you will be online one more time by the time they get there. Now, if you don't have enough tower, or you don't have like enough HQ, which is very, very unlikely, you can still protect your troops here, guys. Depends on how many analysis centers you have, but our analysis centers are super far. But here, you have these analysis centers and they have a protected state, so you can garrison your troop here and nobody's gonna be able to attack those analysis centers unless they're in the challenge status and people who are connecting to the analysis center can attack them. But those are very rare occasions that people are gonna get your troops there, and they have to be from the alliance connecting to the analysis center. So those are very unlikely situations. The more likely situations are that people from other alliances are gonna attack you, so you send your troops either to garrison, to your HQ, or to the analysis centers. You can use a combination of them. Nobody's gonna be able to reach your troops. Now, let's be honest, we are limited by the amount of marches we have available. So how can you protect more troops even if you send all your marches out? Well, there are two ways. And the first one is here, guys. You can always protect an extra march. How? Well, let's say that you have 6 marches available. You can still protect a 7th march here in the blast shelter. So here you have the amount of troops that you can send per march, and you can hide that amount of troops. So if I send all my troops out, I can still hide 1 march. So I press the amount of time that I consider I will be offline, and I hide them, and they won't be able to touch these troops. So you have 6 marches out plus the march which is hiding here in the blast shelter. But you don't only have that, you have the hospital capacity, and the higher the capacity, the higher the amount of troops they are gonna be able to wound, but you are not gonna lose those troops. So you have the 6 or 7 marches out, depends on how many marches you have available, and then you can research here in development hospital beds or more beds. And I recommend you to research as much as you can here, so you increase your hospital capacity and of course upgrade your hospital. And then you have all the marches out plus the hospital capacity availability, and you are gonna be able to protect a lot of troops. For example, I did a test and I have 2.2 million troops, and I can send with all my marches out, my blast shelter and my hospital capacity, I can save 1.2 million troops, and that's a lot, guys. So if you have under 1 million troops and you have like a good march capacity, you are gonna be able to save all your troops. If you have more than 1 million troops, then it gets tough to save them all. But let's be honest, you are saving most of them for the majority of the time. And if you have more than 1.2, then it's very unlikely that they are gonna solo you. They will have to rally you, and maybe you will have time to get reinforced. And the chances that they zero you are less than if you have like a very few troops and you forgot to protect them. So that's the first tip for protecting your troops. Now guys, let's be honest, you are not always here in your like base. Let's say that you are doing a state versus a state and you have to go to invade the other state, or you have to go to the capital during the capital. Of course, you are still afraid somebody's gonna attack you. If you have like a very lower stats and nobody's reinforcing you, because let's be honest, the top players, they are into the capital so bad, they sometimes forget to reinforce you, they don't get the march on time in your base. And remember guys, when you are doing the state versus state or the normal capital, if somebody's gonna attack you and that person is a top player, it's not your usual attack like, oh, 2 minutes marches, 2 minutes, 1.59, 1.58. No, that person is gonna attack you and speed up that joker up, and in 1 second you're gonna be gone. So you have to get there and find already, before removing your peace flare, ways to protect your troops. If you have one more time under 1 million troops, what you do is the following. Let's say you get to the capital, you have like your peace flare. Before removing your peace flare, you're gonna send your marches to the top players in your alliance, because it's very unlikely that they are gonna be solo. So you send your troops to the top players in your alliance and remain with 1 march or 2 marches, just enough to join rallies. So you get the points in the capital, but at the same time, if somebody's attacking you randomly, then of course they are gonna beat you, they are gonna get your resources, but at least you are not gonna lose troops. So that's the second way, guys, because if you are in other state or if you are in the capital, you are not gonna be able to garrison your troops. you can still protect your troops, sending them to the top players and hiding one march in your shelter. And plus the hospital capacity, you can still protect the same amount of troops as if you were in your territory, because you are sending all the marches out and the march that you have available is joining the rally. So those troops are out too. And of course, you are gonna leave your 0 troops in your base. And if they attack you, good for the resources, bye-bye. But at least one more time, you're gonna protect your troops. Now, there is a third way, guys. Let's say you don't have strong players in your alliance. You don't have an alliance. Let's say you don't have enough towers. You don't have HQ. Let's say that you are in the worst case scenario. How can you do to protect your troops? Well, you can still do it, guys. If you want to port to the capital, or you want to attack other people during a state versus state, but you are afraid that somebody's going to come behind you and attack you, or speed up a march and attack you, what I recommend is the following. Before removing your peace flare, you are going to hide one march and you are protecting at least that amount of troops. And if you are attacking with one march, then you keep one march, because that march is gonna be out because you are attacking one player, or you are attacking, let's say, the capital. And the rest of the marches, if you are in the capital, let's say, you go to the corner of the map. For example, you go very far, very far, very far, and press here, occupy, and send those troops there. And why? Because while those troops are marching, they won't be able to attack them. If you, let's say, send them super close to you, they are gonna see when you get there and their troops are camping, they are gonna attack them. Now, if you send them super far, they are gonna be marching for at least 20 minutes. And as soon as they are getting there, you recall them, or you just press like advanced relocator, and you are gonna be able to get them back, or get them back marching, and again, they won't be able to attack them, but you still have one march available, and then you can get your points, you can join rallies, and if they attack you one more time, those marches are out, so they don't get your troops and kill them. So those are the tips that I have for today, guys. Those are coming from the top of my mind. If you have more ideas, let me know in the comments. Remember, guys, the best way is to protect your troops using like a peace flare and set alarms. For example, if the peace flare is going on in 8 hours, you set the alarm for 8 hours, then log in again and put another peace flare. That's the best way. But in newer states of the situation that I gave you before, maybe you won't be able to use peace flares because you run out of peace flares. So those are the situations where you can use the advices that I just gave you today. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and see you next time.